I can't believe it. I forgot to start the stream. Luckily, no one missed anything other than a 3-wide moment from turn 1 all the way to turn, I think it was turn 5. Between Nifo, it was Jericho Willis and Zingy. They all got through it quite well. Jericho Willis did lose a lot of momentum. They've just managed to get ahead of Edfear, but now these guys have a 2.5 second gap, which is absolutely huge to the rest of the field. And I don't know if they're going to be able to get that one back. It's going to be very, very tricky. Charlie has broken away. They had a 2/10 advantage in qualifying. Absolutely massive gap. And it's proving to be very useful in the race. I do apologise for this inconvenience. I was fully believing that I was streaming already for qualifying. We had the qualifying session. But no. That's embarrassing. Half a second. Oh, contact, and Igor spins. Sulkin round. Sulkin will catch up to the back of the pack, but is going to be very frustrated. That was very tricky. Eagle's going to have to continue. That's a 2.7 second gap now, as actually Zingy managed to jump ahead of the Serbians. So 1 position gained by, or 2 positions gained by Zingy, none gained by Egapro, even though Sulkin is now way behind them. Absolutely spectacular. Zingy released into clean air all of a sudden. Eagle was having a look, but didn't really get there alongside enough. I don't know if Sulkin maybe closed the door. It was all a little bit tricky. Ultimately, it takes 2 to tango, and they didn't get through the corner together. That's all we know for now. Charlie, 2.5 seconds in front. It's Nifo who makes a mistake. Frantic's going to try and come through. Will they get there? Nifo doesn't want to give it up, and they will stay ahead. A 2-time winner around this circuit. One of the most successful. But Zingy does own this track, you have to say. I think 4 wins around this circuit is what they may have to boast. And cheekily named the circuit Zingiport. 2.7 seconds, 2.8 seconds though. Shows that it might be Charlie's day. Currently dominating the rest of the field from pole position. And if they were to allow all of the other cars behind them to pit first, they could even see a Grand Slam leading the entirety of the race. Everybody on the medium compound. 2.3 seconds for Jericho Willis. It's actually a pretty good effort considering the train up in front. Now that could be because all of the corners that these drivers have to go through, if you're in a train, you're bunched up. It does allow the cars behind to catch a bit more. 2.3 seconds, 2.4 seconds. Watch that and see where Jericho ends up by the end of turn 7. Because that's where it's going to be the fastest and the hardest for Jericho to actually gain anything back. .7, losing about 2/10, 3/10, almost 4 there's for the 4/10. Loses about 4 to 5/10 after the 2 DRS zones of the start-finish straight. And the following one into turn 7. The main DRS straight, you could say. Zingy maintaining the gap now with Charlie after gaining a couple of tenths back. It's been consistent. It's Egapro who has not been consistent, and that could be DRS done. Almost into the back. There's contact. As Nifo misjudges it, misjudges the throttle as well, frustrated that they've just made contact with Egapro. That's not going to allow them to overtake into the turn 13 corner. They're going to have an opportunity here on DRS, but would they really want to take it? I don't know. 1.5 seconds says Zingy could break away. It's going to be side by side. No, Eager Pro backs out and realizes it's not worth it, but Nifo sends it a bit too hard into the corner and Eagle will come back through. I do not believe it. Sulkin and Frantic will take it as well. There's all a little bit of contact here and there from the rear end and the front end of a few cars, and just going a bit too hot into the corner here and there as well. That's meaning that a lot of drivers are just losing that momentum. It's kind of putting them on a pirouette and then they just spin the car. At least a half spin. It's very, very, very treacherous out there. It's quite possibly just tyre temperature under braking. Frantic now takes the opportunity to go for the inside line. So even though Eager Pro had the clean air for a moment, once more, they've lost it again as Frantic now takes the lead of this train as Zingy breaks away, catches up a tenth or two to their teammate and has no pressure behind. That's a 3.7 second gap that they have to the rest of the field. Erica Willis 1.5 seconds after all of what just happened in front. They see an opportunity to catch back up. I thought Sulkin and Eager Pro were very close together, and I'm sure that's going to be occurring once more at some point soon. Eagle gains the DRS to bring them closer back to the Alpine car, losing the car on the rear end at the final corner, pushing the limits almost beyond. Here we are. Is the overtake on for the Serbian driver driving that Aston Martin green car? It's again scrubbing from a few cars. That was Frantic there in P1, but it's not enough to allow Eagle to try and come through. And you've got the oversteer as well. You've just got some quite incredible oversteer that's leading to understeer, preventing a lot of issues with the braking. Zorico Willis might have done enough here. Do they have DRS? They've just missed out. Jericho Willis almost there. They might be able to get it in the next lap if they can keep this pace up. Considering that they've got a decent amount of battery, they might have been able to do it, but no! They've made a mistake and it's all done. They have to try and gain that one back another half a second, and that's not going to come easy. In the meantime, we've seen Zingy put some brilliant laps in to catch up to their teammate. 1.9 seconds now and 4 seconds to the rest of the field, although it seems that they've just made a bit of a mistake because Frantic's gained and so has Charlie. They've got to try and lock in. That's Zingy and Jorica Willis making mistakes at the same time. Why isn't Gilly racing? I'm not entirely sure, to be honest. They've had some memories around this circuit. In the Haas, I believe it was. Years ago now. And Charlie, once again, pulls the pace away. That's Eagle making big contact with the wall. Not 10 laps into this race just yet. We're seeing a few difficult moments here and there. That looks very, very tough. Loose on the rear end throughout that complex of corners for the Aston. Jorica Willis, now 2.3 seconds, lost some momentum, some confidence. As you can see, they've just gone a bit deep, pushing a bit too hard. Need to use some battery. Yeah, Gilly would have already finished the race. I'm emphasizing on the fact that they would have finished the race by now. Or maybe not say finished the race, but finished racing. No, that's not like Gilly. Sulkin has an opportunity here to catch and well past Eager Pro because he's lost DRS from Frantic. Keeps finding some oversteering moments. Those tyres look pretty dead to me, and that looks like a Red Bull going very quickly. Now the hunt is on. Oh, and once again more troubles. Lots of drivers just with the oversteer everywhere but where they want it, and it's just throwing them towards the wall. The tyres are screaming at this stage, and you can really see it. You can really see it. Let's have a look on board with your race leader. And although Zingy was catching a few laps ago, this is your fastest car on track, with what is becoming an iconic helmet design, I'd say. Now we want to watch the majority of a lap if we can. Sulkin has to put in a stint here to try and catch Frantic 2.0 seconds right now. So far, so smooth for the Williams. Looks like they're enjoying themselves. Nice and stable into the hairpin. Are they going to struggle? A little bit away from it, but the stability throughout the rest of the circuit did help them a lot, and they've actually gained some more time on the Scotsman, their teammate behind them. Looks pretty tidy on the Eagle. No gains or losses. Joricho Willis once more very close to the field. Can they do anything about it? Sulkin 2.1 seconds away. As this lap begins, we go on board with Zingy to see what they're doing. That was a weird ghost car. Very strange. Lap 11. Go over and flashback on that one and see what happened. Let's see the difference between the two teammates and their driving. Ed Vera into the pit lane, the first driver to make a pit stop. We're expecting to see a few more then. Trying to utilise some of the flicking almost, it looked like that for Zingy. Really putting a decent amount of lock on before they've even got to that turning point. Whereas going back on board with Charlie seems a bit more traditional. Unexpected. That being said, maybe not so much. As they put the brakes on pretty hard there. Now Eagle still can't do anything about this, but Frantic really has put that pace on. And Sulkin does not have an answer. Possibly frustrated due to the incident earlier on in this race. The contact with Gigaprite has knocked their confidence, or at least shifted their focus, and it's preventing them from going too fast. It's Igor on the attack. It's not going to be possible to go for any kind of move. They're almost into the back of Igor there. You can see that probably frustrated with the bunching, as they've now got Jericho Willis directly behind them on the attack as well. It is Charlie leading the way. Zingy almost 3 seconds back now, frantic in no man's land. Sulkin leading a train. And Edvir making the first pit stop. That's how the race sits at the moment. Pit stop galore, 3 drivers in, all following very closely. Was that contact? I don't know. I think Nifo has got away with it. It looked like there was almost contact with the back of Igor. They will continue. And actually have to slow down and lose some time. As you see, Sulkin is going to get a bit of a jump there, possibly, unless Igor can nail this pit exit. Will the Aston Martin stay within DRS range? I think they've just about missed it. And that was a perfect pit stop from the Red Bull driver. Now, will Nifo try and get a slingshot? An opportunity to go for a move, and they're not close enough. Making contact on the exit of turn 5 meant that they lost the momentum to have any kind of consideration for an overtake. The hard tyres though for P5 and below. The rest of the field getting ready to react. A 3.5 second gap is not enough for a double stack from Williams, so Charlie's in. Zingy will stay out another lap. Drifting on entry for the pit lane. Frantic is going to come in, and Jericho Willis also. Zingy, the only driver to now be on that all tyre. Got a decent amount of wear on it. And Zingy will also see, well, actually, if we look at the undercut, Sulkin massively jumps ahead of the rest of the field. It's going to be side by side though, as Frantic leaves the pit lane and Sulkin has got the job done. DRS though goes to the Alpine car. Will they get back through? They've had some brilliant pace so far in this race. They are going to try and charge. Oh, that was so complicated. Very well defended. And Frantic has got to go back to the drawing board. Their race is now all of a sudden very, very complicated. They pitted 1 lap later. They've now got cars around them. And they've only got 1 lap tyre advantage. Not much at all. Could be very, very useful towards the end of the Grand Prix, but other than that, not really that useful, especially now that there's a risk factor of racing against another car and trying to overtake them in the streets of Singapore. That's just absurd. Jericho Willis having some sort of issue, it seems. I don't know if they've had contact with the wall or just lost a load of time, but pitting a lap later, it seems, has massively hindered their race position. Zingy is into the pit lane. Charlie overtakes, and we'll see where the rest of the field comes out, because now they're going to get an extra lap of an undercut relative to the Scotsman. There's Sulkin, there's Zingy, and DRS will be available for the Norwegian, bringing almost everybody back into this race, at least for P2. And that is crucial. How's this one going to work out? I'm not entirely sure, but we've now got a P2 to P6 train of cars. Jericho Willis loses more time as the DRS train kicks in. Sulkin is gained from the pit stops there. Frantic loses massively. And Charlie, 8 seconds now. It was almost 3 seconds before. It's now 8 seconds. They gained 5 seconds during the pit stops. Very impressive from the Polish driver. 5 seconds is going to be very useful. Time penalty, don't worry, you've got a 5-second gap. Oh, and that was very confusing. Frantic got alongside Sulkin, but Sulkin decided to move right all of a sudden. Didn't quite go that way. But Frantic's efforts of trying to get through were then halted. And now they've got to try and figure out another way past instead. That was very strange. 8.2 seconds. Charlie continues on this trajectory. They won't lead every race, every lap of this race, sorry. As they did make that pit stop. And he was to take the lead for a moment there. Got 16 out of 31, and we are halfway through this Grand Prix. Our race leader could be said to have checked out at this point. And 8.9 seconds, a 9/10 advantage goes further. Zingy's got pressure behind, and although the man does not feel pressure, it's not making them go any quicker. Sulkin is on the attack. It's side by side into turn 7. It's a very, very ambitious move that hasn't worked out. It loses Zingy time. It gains Frantic a position. It's going to be, is that a damage? For Sulkin, it's not damage. It's just about safely through the corner. And I don't know how close that was. But it was too close. A very, very risky move at that pace going into the corner. Forcing Zingy off to go and take avoiding action. They didn't really have much of an option, otherwise they would have both been in big trouble. And Frantic just had the momentum. They were able to carry that through. That's gained about 3/10 for maybe even more. Charlie, who leads this way by an unfathomable amount, considering we've got the Master of Singapore in the lobby with us today. And they'll like to tell everybody that they did have a world record here in a previous F1 game or two. ERS is frantic looking for a move. They're not. They'll stay behind. They'll tuck back in. Sulkin, 1 lap ago, was looking for that. It didn't go to plan. Pro just watched on and saw everything happen in front, but was not able to take the spoils. In the same for Nifo at the back of this pack so far. Further back, Jericho Willis, 4 lap old hard tyres, 5.2 seconds. Ed Deer, 7 lap old hard tyres, 7.9 seconds away from Jericho Willis. It's a long old race here in Singapore. It's a tough race. Lots of corners, lots of heavy forced corners. If you're on the steering wheel, it's going to be a drag, and you can get very fatigued and tired and therefore distracted. You can get yourself a time penalty, as we see on lap 19 for Nifayan. That's not going to be the last penalty of this race. So tough. It's also tough when you're leading a train and you've got lots of things to think about. Catching the car in front if you're not in P1, but staying ahead of the car behind at the same time. Edgar retires in the pit lane. It will not be a safety car, will continue. As it puts the pressure on, Zingy has to go slightly defensive. But it doesn't worry too much. Atlantic really is putting that pressure on. They found their way to the outside line. They're looking for the switchback manoeuvre. But it's not quite going to be a place to go for any kind of move. They just have to sit back for now. That hairpin is a good old favourite place to overtake. We saw that many times back in the F1 22 game for that infamous season, that infamous race. Back in, I think, season 9 or maybe 10. Maybe even season 8. I can't quite remember which one. It was one of them back in 22. Around this very circuit, and we looked for some more epic racing. We've got Pro going very wide, inviting Nifo into a position to look at making some sort of move. They're not going to go for it right now. They will stay away. 11.9 seconds. Charlie makes it 12. Now on lap 20 out of 31, as Zingy can't find an answer and tries to focus their race elsewhere. Staying in front at all costs. Staying away from time penalties at all costs. Keeping their front wing clean at all costs. And making sure that they do everything themselves to keep their race clean, to give themselves the best chance in this Grand Prix. And as long as they do that, they know that they've done their best. And that if anything does come off this race dramatically, they're ready to capitalise on it. Frantic. Had a go at putting the pressure on the Scotsman a couple of laps ago. Since then, it's just not quite come back. Sulkin can't find a way through, especially in a DRS train situation. But now, Zingy breaks away. Sulkin does get an opportunity here. We could see a move from the Red Bull driver. Will they go for that form of overtake? Ooh, contact. Would have been probably Zingy, maybe Frantic on entry. I don't think it would be enough to really be a big problem. scuff off the wall possibly from Frantic. Zingy as well. Visually, no concerns. Doesn't mean it's not there. But we'll find out. Jericho with us 5.1 seconds away from this pack here of cars. So we stay on. Very Frantic. Now, interestingly, Zingy's broken away from Frantic, and now Charlie has lost time to the Scotsman. So all of a sudden, now they don't have anybody to worry about behind. Zingy is gaining time. As I said, the man does not feel pressure, but maybe today they do. Sulkin has a quick look to the inside to spot their breaking point, as you like to call it, aka try and scare the car in front into a mistake. Info on the edge of DRS here, looking at possibly losing out if they're not careful. Sulkin's call to action is surely on the way. Oh, jumped over the curb, made contact with the wall. Is that a wise use of the battery? Are they really going to try and give it a go into turn 7? Surely it's never going to work that far back, and it will not. Not a chance. It will instead allow Igor to have a bit of comfort and maybe look for a move, but they just weren't close enough. That was just mounting that curb a little bit awkwardly, and it all of a sudden turns into a 3-second time penalty. That's the second one of this race, actually the third 3-second time penalty of this race. And now Sulkin and Nivoyan will be fighting out on track. It's Eager Pro effectively for P4, and then fighting with Frantic for the podium position. But it still requires you to overtake P4. Zingy now maintains the gap on Charlie. Frantic does what they can and stays ahead of the rest of the field. Sulkin's got that time penalty, so Igor needs to try and come through here to be racing the other cars, or the other car, Frantic, that is on the same time penalty range as them. Sulkin isn't going to let that one go easily, just in case they can protest said time penalty. At 23 out of 31. Frantic continues out ahead in this train. Zingy continues to make some good progress on Charlie. With less than 10 laps to go though. That kind of progress still wouldn't be enough to take victory. Still nice to see. Oh, contact with the wall. That's damage. That's big damage. And now the rest of the field are going to have to try and find a way through. A loss of the rear end finds them facing the wall at a crucial moment. There's contact. There's damage. Sulkin is going to be at a go slow pace. Igor has to get through now. DRS is available. It's not available for Sulkin. They have to dive to the inside. They don't go for it. They're going to lose more time. Frantic will get away. Absolutely crucial. Sulkin's going to try and stay out. You can see for the right-hander, left-hander I should say, they're going to lose out some time. There's no DRS to the Norwegian car. The Norwegian driver, the Austrian car. But Igor has no battery to fight with, and neither does Nifo. So it might just be a free lap here for Sulkin. And they will stay ahead for an entire lap with damage. And what I'll tell you now, that moment that Igor did not send it on the brakes was the one moment that cost both of these guys an extra position and has cost Igor the chance at fighting for a podium. Frantic will break away, and Sulkin now has a better chance, an even better chance at fighting all the way to the end to stay in P4. Ultimately, they're only fighting with Nifo as they both have the 3-second time penalty. And they're trying to stay ahead of Jericho Willis, so they can't afford to fight too much. But fighting with Igor isn't actually going to help their race other than put a car in between them and the next car that they want to battle. But Igor is not in a position to overtake. And to be fair, although Sulkin doesn't have DRS or Frantic, they are very competitive right now. That's another time penalty, unfortunately, for Nifo. So now Nifo is on their own with that 6-second time penalty. But it still doesn't change the fact that Igor needs to pass here to try and have a go. They don't have the battery to compete. They get the DRS open. By the time they get to the end of the straight, it's too late to go for an overtake. And they just have to sit and relax. Relaxing is not the right word. More of a wait scenario. Charlie once more brings the gap up to 11 seconds on Zingy. 3.4 splits Frantic and the second Williams driver. .5, 1.8 splits Sulkin and Frantic. They were in a train together originally. As Nifo is furious with what's going on up in front. Frustrated that Igor isn't making a move. And frustrated that Sulkin is defending so hard whilst having that time penalty. I understand it a bit more from Sulkin's point of view. But at the same time, Igor doesn't have the battery to go for the overtake, so they can't get it done. And they've just lost the rear end. That was their best chance at going for a move, and they've lost the rear end. So, although understandable from Nifo, the body language of that car showing frustration is maybe not taking into consideration the full picture on lap 27 out of 31. It's a bit trickier than one may think. Sulkin has battery to defend on the straights, and they have the presence to defend in the corners. there's a few circuits that you're going to get wing damage at, it's Monaco or Singapore. You might just have a chance staying in front the entire way through. That's what we're seeing here from Sulkin. And although to the frustration of the rest of the field, how it's going. Right now, however, by sitting in front and not sitting in the DRS of EagaPro in clean air, Sulkin is severely risking losing out to Jericho Willis. Jericho Willis could finish this race in P5 and Sulkin would finish this race in P6. They have to allow Igor to go through, but they once again defend. It's not going to work, surely. They force Igor off the circuit. Igor stays to the inside. They're going to have them on the brakes this time. Nifo tries to come through as well. Are they going to try and brake late once more? They are pushing Igor through the corner. There's contact. Oh, I don't believe it. I don't believe it. And more front wings go across. Igor gets in front and now Nifo is in trouble, and yet still Jericho Willis is now within the time penalty range. Not fully considering the bigger picture, I feel like, has allowed Jericho Willis to get involved and now be sitting in a P5 position due to time penalties. 10 points, considering the tough times that they've had in this race, isn't going to be too bad. Nifo tries to stay out with that wing damage, but it's a little bit more severe than I thought. And there you go. The McLaren goes through. But 29 out of 31. Charlie starts lap 30 out of 31. The penultimate lap of this race creeps up on us. EagaPro is ahead as Sulkin comes along through. The inside line is what they're looking for. Even though they've got a time penalty, it doesn't really make that much of a difference. And to be honest, for the best interest of Igor, they may as well just stay behind Sulkin. It's possible that Sulkin has a false 3-second time penalty, and that's why they're trying to stay in front at this stage of the race at least. But it would be a tricky one. I'm not sure how fightable it would be. Charlie been driving to perfection so far this weekend, and they've not got long to go to claim their second win this season. Their first in Spain a few races ago. Although that hairpin just seems to be getting the better of them. We haven't seen them too much on track, but we'll see them in a moment's time when they cross the line. Their teammate also doing a very good job considering the circumstances. They're not going to be happy with not being able to fight for P1, but everything else, they've maximised their result. Frantic in a similar position. I think they've done a good job considering the battles that they had. Maybe that pit stop needed to be a lap earlier, but they wouldn't have known that until it's too late. Eager Pro, 1.4 seconds away, been gapped by Sulkin with the damage. Although Sulkin's not going to have a chance to break away from DRS range. They are very quick. 1.2 seconds. Maybe I've spoken a bit too soon here. If Sulkin can have a brilliant next few sectors, then it's possible that things could change. Jericho Willis without a time penalty as well. They're going to do what they can. Fortunately, in a dramatic way, if I'm not worrying about going into the pit lane due to, well, no extra point for the fastest lap. There's no point, you may as well just continue to the end of the Grand Prix. Charlie has got half a lap to go. And we're just going to check in once again here. It's 1.8 seconds. Jericho Willis is behind. They might have a chance to attack here. Would they even risk it? They've got battery to spare. They do. I don't think they will worry about it though. It's Charlie who rounds the final corner and dominates the Singapore Grand Prix. Zingy will follow along, but we might get a chance for an overtake here. Here we go, Jericho Willis to the inside line. They back out at the last second. They don't go for it. They did not go for it. That was their only opportunity. Absolutely incredible. Frantic finishes for P3, and we've got Sulkin in P4, followed by, it will be Jericho Willis, Eager Pro, and Eager Pro, Jericho Willis, and then it will be Sulkin, followed by Nifo at the back of the field. A tough race for few, but a brilliant race for Williams. Absolutely incredible. Charlie takes victory. It's Zingy in P2 and Frantic in P3. Eager Pro, Jericho Willis, Sulkin, and Nifo in P7. DNFing earlier on was Edvir. The race director is on your screen just in case. And then the pit stop section 2. We'll export those results. And we'll be back in a bit for the post-race interviews. Hello everyone and welcome to the post-race interviews of the Singapore Grand Prix. That was a long old race. Frantic, we start with you. A lovely podium. You had some pressure and battles throughout the entire race, but I will say you had some brilliant pace as well.
Oh.
For a decent while on your own. Also,
hmm
the pit stop situation, that was a bit more tricky. Do you think you pitted on the right lap?
No, I don't think so. Coming into the race, I didn't have a lot of practice. Oh, first of all, hoo-ha, hoo-ha, hoo-ha. I need to be a bit quiet, but hoo-ha, let's go. Well deserved. But like, I thought pitting lap 14 would have been the best strategy. Like, I thought it was very early, so I would have undercut it like Zingy, I believe. But apparently, all the people behind me, they pitted as well on lap 13, I believe. So I got undercut instead, which is crazy. So yeah, that was a bit of a shame because I was pulling away pretty nicely there in my first stint, but oh well, it was still pretty fun. I battled with Salkin, which was cool, and it looked like I was keeping up with Singy for like a small portion of the race, but apparently he was just saving, I think, because he just pulled away out of nowhere. So that was a bit scary, but yeah, I'm very happy. Lost to podium is crazy. Let's go, hoo-ha.
Yeah, it was very, very good, and congratulations on that lovely points in the end. And I'm gonna keep it short and sweet. Thank you very much, Frantic. Really well done today. Sorry I missed the start of the stream, and we'll see you next time.
Okay, appreciate.
And we move on to Charlie. Charlie, that was pretty good. That I can't lie. That was pretty good from you today. 10, was it 12 seconds in the end actually? 2 tenths advantage in qualifying as well. Take us through it.
Uh, well, I think that was one of the most. I don't know if perfect, but I made a couple mistakes in the race. I mean, I dropped a couple, tenths, maybe seconds here and there because lockups, but it's kind of hard to manage the temps on this track. You have to kind of move the brake bias forwards a bit so the rears don't cook, and then you have the fucking hairpin, so you just have to like lock in to not lock up.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, to be honest, I mean the race was pretty much perfect. I mean, I pulled away out of DRS in the first stint, so that's already huge, I would say. Then strategy was pretty good because yeah, I kind of undercut my teammate being still in P1. I had the strategic advantage sort of, and I don't know, that undercut was so powerful. I think I gained like 5 seconds alone after the pit. It was crazy, and then once the tires got up to temp, pace was good. The setup was really good on fresh tires, so I managed to pull out another, I don't know, was it like 3-4 seconds at that point, and then the pace was pretty stable at that moment. So yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
it was good.
But yeah, that was a perfect pit stop from you as well. Yeah, you're right. That advantage gained from that is just incredible. And again, not really much more to say. You did a very good job today. Perfect stuff. Second win of the season. Congratulations. And we'll see you next time. Well done.
Yeah, thanks.
And we move on to Nifo. Nifo, well, that was tough. A spectator from the battle of what was ahead, at least, it didn't look easy to deal with. 3 wide through the first few corners as well at the beginning of the race. Very, very impressive to get through that. I'll let you take us through the rest of it.
Yeah, quali, I was actually on a pretty good lap, and then I locked up.
Yeah, that would have been
Well,
P2, I think, right?
yeah, I mean maybe, but I mean you can never say because maybe the next corner I lock up, right? But it was a pretty good lap. At least it felt like it, and I mean the delta make the mistake, so it doesn't matter then. But I actually got a little bit of confidence from that, and then I mean the moment the tires start to wear and I get oversteer, I become the most flawless driver on this fucking planet. Oh, my bad. So I lost it, and everybody overtook me, and I was just stuck behind everybody else, and I just couldn't do anything. So I was just watching and got time penalties in the meantime, which just wasn't ideal. one way to get positions without really pushing. Yeah, I mean, in the final moments, I was like, maybe I can get Salkin because he has a 3 second, and then, I followed Eagle behind, and I think he decided he didn't want me there, so he put me in the wall. So yeah, I mean, it is what it is. It's just week in week out a bit of embarrassing performances one after another. So I'm not phased. It's just it's sad, but I tried. I don't think it was the worst race I ever did, but really make forward progress at all.
Yeah, I mean, a circuit like this, it's hard to overtake at, so yeah, it's going to be even more difficult. It's that amplified outcome, I guess you could say. But, I mean, I have a question. So, before the incident at the end, you were weaving across the circuit quite a lot, as I assume a body language signal on track. What were you frustrated with there? Because I think it was Igor following Sulkin for a while.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I mean, I saw Salkin eat concrete, and his wing flew off, and I was like, okay, I hope Igor can get past him. I think Igor's kind of content with staying behind because obviously he had a time penalty and I had a time penalty, so he was like, well, if I stay behind, maybe not take too much risk. But I could see that Igor was much faster, but he just didn't go for the moves. I was just trying to tell him, please just go, because I mean, even if he goes, like there might be a chance he gets frantic if he makes a mistake, But I just felt like he was behind him too long. Again, if I was Igor, I might have done the same. I was just frustrated because obviously I can't move forward, I can't go through Eagle, and I can't really dive him because obviously they're sulking, so I have to be millimeter perfect, even more than you already have to be. So just a bit of frustration. I mean I don't think he he knew what I was trying to say, and I don't expect him to, but I was just trying everything I could to at least try something.
And thank you for trying. We do appreciate it, and hopefully it goes a bit better next time. Thank you very much, Nifo.
Yeah, thank you.
And that's been it for the post-race interviews. Thank you very much for watching. It's been a pleasure. We will see you tomorrow for the F1.5 EU Championship. We'll see you next weekend for the next race. And I've forgotten which circuit it is. Have a good one, and bye-bye.